So, Anthony, we in the car, we riding, we rolling. And what y'all don't know is we've already been talking before y'all to hear the talk. The good stuff already came out. So, I want to rewind a little bit. You got a company, Amp Connections, but I want you to tell me, who are you before you start this business, and how did you get where you are today?
So, before I started just Amp Connections, I was a young man that was incarcerated for 7.5 years.
7.5 years.
Yes. A teen dad, baby was born while I was incarcerated. So, the only way I seen him was on visit and things of that nature. But I had made a promise to myself and my God that if he let me get out of prison, that I wasn't gonna leave my son's side. And so when I got released 7.5 years later, man, I just started doing all this great stuff. I got back to school a year after being out, found a job in 2 weeks working at Ruth's Chris in the St. Louis Art Museum. So I'm working 2 jobs, going to school. Had other kids, had 4 other kids, and just to this day, just always trying to be a father, be an example, be a leader to them. So I graduated from community college in 2017, up to September 2021. Shot 5 times. I graduated in May of 21, shot September of 2021, and then I was shot 5 times and ended up losing my left leg.
This is after you got out. After you got out of jail, after you got your degree, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. First, if you're comfortable sharing, how did you end up incarcerated in the first place?
So I ended up incarcerated, hanging out, robbery, assaults, just doing all the things that.
And how old were you?
I was 17, 18 years old.
17,
yeah.
Wow. So you just hanging out with the boys, right? And y'all doing, dumb teenage shit, and you get caught up, robbery. You go in, you come out. Now you like, I'm trying to change. What made you when you came out? Because we hear a lot of times people reoffending, they end up going back. What made you be like, you know what? No, I'm doing this different.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. In jail, I changed in jail. I changed in DOC. So the reason I did was I started taking ICV, changed the thinking, like criminal thinking, and I used to watch Maury in College Hill. And so watching those shows was like, man, my life can be like this. And so that would really allow me the ability to want to change. It didn't start when I came out. I just knew that, man, I wanted to be a father, and watching Maury, I used to laugh. You not the father. And so, I'm like, man, I know I'm the father because I took the DNA test. So it was,
to me.
Yeah.
And so, you're seeing these people who have different lives, who took a different path, and you like, I still have the opportunity to take that same path. I can do that same thing. I can be you ain't gonna have to worry about wondering if I'm the father, because I'm gonna be like, no, I am the father.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I think that for a lot of people, a lot of people have trouble having a mindset shift like that, where they're like, man, I can have something bigger, something better for myself. And not only did you have the thought and you had the hope that you could do it, but then you get out and you go and actually do it.
Yeah.
So you get out, you go to community college, you go to UMSL, and, to me, it sounds like you really on the right track. Like you making it all happen for yourself. So, but then we know something happened. So talk to me about, you said you graduated in May, and then you got shot when?
In September.
Wow. So tell me how are you feeling, one, when you graduated? And then what led to this life-changing moment?
So, I was excited. I thought I figured it out. I'm like, I'm finna be an accountant. I'm finna change the world, and I'm gonna do all this great stuff.
You said you got your degree in accounting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you think I'm gonna change the world, about to be an accountant, about to push these numbers around, and what happens?
And then I'm working and looking for job searching. It ain't as quick as coming as I thinking it's gonna come, because it's like everybody looking for this experience. And so it was disappointing upon graduation, because it's like I'm like, man. So I enrolled into my master's program. So I'm in my master's program and I become a grad assistant. So I'm working. So now I'm an international grad assistant. So now I'm gonna go across seas and do all this great stuff. September, just normal argument with somebody. I thought I was gonna be tough or whatever. The night I get off, I argue with somebody in the neighborhood. Before I knew it, I heard gunshots from him. I tried to break back to the car, I was hitting the leg. So
Wow.
it was just crazy.
So literally, this ain't like a long running beef. This is just heat of the moment.
Yeah.
You mad, they say I'm gonna escalate it.
Yeah, that
And
just.
next thing you know, it pops off.
Yeah, it was like I was dropping my son off, and my kid's mother was talking to somebody else, and I said something, and it was just we going back and forth, and.
Wow. And so when you're sitting there, I just want to really dive into this moment, because I think for so many people, you know, we think we got everything going on, right? We're making right decisions, we're moving forward in our lives, and then all of a sudden, we get hit by a train, and things fall apart, and they can do it so quickly. And, you know, I explain like a roller coaster. You at the top of the hill, you feeling great, and all of a sudden it just drops on you. And when you're sitting there in this moment, what were you thinking?
I thought it was over. I thought that was it. I was like, I prayed, and I was in the hospital, and so my grandmother I didn't even know my leg was amputated. So my grandmother made the decision for the amputation to happen.
And when you woke up and you found out that you were missing a leg, what was the first thing? Like what was going through your mind?
I just didn't know. It was just like.
I mean, you alive, so I know
you're
alive, but
it was like I didn't know how it was gonna be. I was depressed.
Man.
So I ended up writing a book, 5 Ways of Healing from an Amputation. And so, you know what I mean, I just thought, I learned about the prosthetic, a prosthesis walk-in, like I was going to help you walk
wait a minute,
again.
you just rolled through that. I want y'all to hear what he just said. He finds out he don't have a leg, and he says, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to write a book.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how quickly did you start the process of writing a book? Was this like, you know what? It was a week later, I'm like,
well,
I'm going to spin this.
It was like I went through the depression. I went through all the things of learning about the amputation process. But then it was like that part of me is like, your story can help somebody else because you was ignorant to this.
Wow.
Because you lived your whole life with a leg. And so I was like, I had this vision in the hospital, like, man, I want to change the world with this amputation. I want to take this tragedy and change the world. And so I said I turned the tragedy into a lifestyle.
Man, that's so powerful. And like, you know, before we started recording, we were talking about how we don't hear everyone's story, right? We don't always hear the story before the story. And I think for you it really shows how powerful your mindset has shifted from when you were younger. Because one, you came out, you're like, I'm turning this around, about to get this degree, about to go do this thing. Then you get knocked down again. But you like immediately, it don't take you it didn't take you 7.5 years this time. You immediately were like, yo,
I gotta do
I'm
something.
turning this into something positive. And to me, that's just incredible. Like that you went. And so talk to us a little bit about the book. You know, what do you talk about in the book to help other people?
So in 5 Ways to Heal from an Amputation, I talk about dealing with depression, knowing when to speak up, knowing when to ask for that help. Because it's a more mental health thing.
It's huge.
Also being an advocate for yourself. Don't let nobody decide what's going to happen for you or what's going to be your recovery time. You put in the work and you advocate for yourself, the people will come and help you.
That's huge. And look, say that one more time. You put in the work and what happens?
And the people will come and help you.
This is the thing that most people don't realize. It doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish in life. Once you set your mind to the fact that it will be done and that you'll accomplish it, as they say in The Alchemist, my favorite book, the entire universe will conspire to make it happen for you. And it is so true. Once you just put in a little bit of effort, next thing you know, people come up out the woodworks trying to help you get to where it is that you're trying to go and help you do what you're trying to do. And so as you write the book, right, you get it published, talk to me, like, what was that process like? I know it's not easy getting the book out, so, just talk to me about what that was like.
So, it was a struggle. I did it for healing because I didn't go seek therapy. So I did it for...
It was cathartic just to be able to write it down and get it on paper.
And then just doing, getting it published myself, reaching out to a local publisher in St. Louis, Concept Publishing Company, because I wanted to keep it local because I'm from St. Louis and I'm a St. Louis native and I love my city. So I wanted to be able to have somebody that's from the city that been here and publish it with somebody in the city, so I can be able to share my story with them. So it took about a year to actually really do everything. But for the most important, I wanted it out for Loss of Limb Awareness Month, which was April last year. And so Loss of Limb Awareness Month is in April, so I really wanted to get it out and donate it to people just to be able to allow family, friends, in the community to heal.
Wow, that's incredible. And so talk to me about how the connection between the book and your company gets started. Talk to me about that.
It was hard work. It was all passion. I was just like, I'm doing this work. I don't care if nobody know I'm doing it. I'ma just do it. So I just started building the website. I just started just using the skills that I learned from college and just putting it together. People was telling, just making it happen. It was just.
And like, a lot of people think, oh, well, I don't have money to build a website, so I don't have money to do this. I can't do that. What made you say, like, no, I'll just figure it out?
It's because I wanted people to know. And I didn't want to just be somebody just telling you, oh, I got this, but you ain't got no way to locate it. Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, everybody on the internet. So I was like, let me put the website together and you can go Google it and find it. Mm-hmm. And so I just got to creating it.
And like, that's, I mentor a lot of people and I talk to people, and so many people think like they because they lack a certain resource, they can't do something, whatever it may be. And it's like, dude, the internet's out there. If you can look up how to do anything and figure it out. It may not be perfect, but you can get started. You can take the next step. And I love that for you. You're like, if I figured out how to write a book, and I can figure out how to get to college, and I can figure out how to graduate, I can figure all the rest of this out. I'll do the website, do the social media, I'll do the advertising. I'll just figure it out. And, when you were doing all this and you making all these things happen, how did you feel? Because you talked about being depressed, and you talked about the mental taxation that happened to lose your limb. But as you go through this journey to write the book, to create the business, how are you feeling as you start to accomplish these things?
You feel relieved. You actually feel like you, the founder, the CEO. It just feels different when you walk in the room. When they say, oh, the founder of M Connections and in the building, it's like you still looking back like, who they talking about? And it's you. And so it just gives you a feeling of like you making a difference, or you giving somebody a part of you to help them to begin that healing process.
And like, so many people are afraid to get started, right? So many people would have been lying in the hospital bed and said like, man, I would love to write a book. I would love to start a company and advocacy and all this stuff, but that's just so much work. And what if it doesn't work out? And, what if I don't get any money to put it together? And they psych themselves into this fear cyclone that just is like, that paralyzes them from taking action. But what you found, and this is the truth I think for everyone, is that when you start taking the actions to make it happen, even though it's not easy, you feel good just going through the process of making it happen. Is that fair? It just, you meet great people, like, you just meet great people, you connect, and when the time is right, the people gonna show up for you. Wow. So I think that's the importance, be the takeaway. Like, when you on a journey, it look dark, gloomy, and it don't seem like nothing's gonna happen. But when you ready, the people be there for you to coach you, teach you, and push you over the edge, because people want to see you succeed. That's so true. And you talked about it, sometimes it's gloomy. And the truth is that there's a lot of times, especially as people pursue entrepreneurship, where it's a storm, and you going through storms. And, a lot of people think, oh, well, the storm means that it wasn't for me. It means I'm supposed to give up. No, it doesn't. It means it's just a storm. Sometimes you're going to learn from the storm. You're going to grow from the storm. The storm's going to push you in a different direction. But sometimes that storm is necessary to be able to help you get to the next stage in your story, in your life. And if you just weather that storm, then you'll be able to pull what you need out of it to do the next thing. And I think that's something that you're doing, and I think it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So, you took me up on this offer to come on the show. to get some mentorship, get some advice. Tell me, where are you at with your business today, and what can I help you with? What do you need to do to take it to the next level?
I think more so to get it to the next level is just letting people know, like, getting in front of those people, just really showing them and giving them that hope. So I think, more so, what I would want from you, from your mentorship is just, to continue to learn how to network.
Got you. So networking for you right now is huge. And what are your goals for this year? Like, what do you want to see happen in your business? What's one metric that you can look at and say, if I can do X number of X, then I will be happy with the progress I've made this year?
I'm really getting more of my books in consumer hands and my brochures in consumer hands. And
so you want to sell some more books. How many books do you want to sell this year?
I'm looking to sell at least 5,000 books.
5,000 books this year. Okay, that's a good number, right? That means you got to put some work in, but it's definitely possible. It's achievable for you to do that. And you mentioned earlier, right? You said that you want to do it through networking, right? Through meeting people, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so look, I don't know everything, and I'll never know. One of my mentors always says, I'll never know your business as well as you will, okay? Yes. But if I were you, this is how I would approach it. When I think about your story and what it is that you have to say, I think it's a powerful message that a lot of people need to hear, and not just people who honestly, not just people who've been shot, but not even just people who have lost a limb. It's a story of resiliency for anybody going through anything, and I think that's very powerful. I also know that it will be the most powerful for the people that have experienced what you've experienced, right? Who have lost a limb that used to have a limb. And so when you talk about networking, one of the most powerful ways to sell your book is to be in front of your audience, a real audience in real life, where they can see it, taste it, touch it, and you can speak to them about what happened to you and how you were able to overcome it, particularly that mental portion. And so I think I was just reached out to on LinkedIn by a woman. She creates a software that reads sign language and turns it into audible voices. And so I'm just thinking about all of the people like No Limits here in St. Louis. They create adaptive clothing for people who have lost a limb. I think about somebody like them and how if you went to them and said, hey, I want to tell my story to your audience, people that have also lost limbs, that are buying clothing for people who have lost limbs, I think that working with someone like them is an amazing partnership for you. And what I think you may find is, like, you could talk to a company like No Limits who creates clothing and say, hey, how about you for Amputee Awareness Day or week or month, how about you give away a copy of my book to everyone who buys a piece of your clothing? And all of a sudden, you can sell them 500 books that they're going to give away to their customers. And so if you start to go to people that already have audiences that can benefit from your story, they can either create spaces for you to go and speak, or they can buy product in bulk to give away to the people that they already serve that they know will benefit from the story. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And not only that, but I'm just thinking, like, there's another great St. Louis business, PitchDB, and they allow you to access podcasts. And so you could go and reach out to all these people that have podcasts for people that have lost limbs, people that have, had traumatic experiences, people that have been formerly incarcerated, all these different threads through your story. And if you reach out to them, you get on their show, now you have totally new audiences that you're going to get in front of that could be potential customers for you. But most importantly, that they're going to really benefit from what it is that you have to say in your story, and they'll be very targeted. And I think that, man, between podcasts, working with adjacent services, people that service people that have experienced, losing a limb, and then also doing conferences. There's so many different events and conferences for people, and I think that that's powerful as well. Like the Special Olympics, man, reaching out to them and be able to, like, go into schools and share your story of, hey, it ain't over. Like, this isn't the end of anything. This is just the start of a new chapter. That's it. Yeah. It's just the start of a new chapter. Yeah. And you being able to share that message, man, it's just going to provide, to me, I think it just provides so much inspiration to people. Yeah. So I think you networking, all it really takes is making a couple phone calls.
Yeah.
Just a couple phone calls. Cool. So what else you got?
I just, man, I appreciate, like, you know what I mean, the mentorship and just, you know what I mean, the opportunities you creating for those that don't really know how to get started.
Well, you know, I feel like for me, I made a lot of mistakes when I got started. I didn't know anything. You know, I didn't know. Not only did I not know anything, I didn't know anyone. So I kind of just had to figure it out. You know, and I'm a big believer that for a lot of people getting started, that's just how it is sometimes. You know, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know who you need to know. But it doesn't mean you can't get started and just figure it out. Like, I'm a big believer, just throw darts at a wall, and eventually you hit the bullseye. You may not know where the bullseye is at, but if you just keep throwing in the dark, eventually you'll hit it. And once you do, now you know where to throw. And you just keep going and going and going, and just pour fuel onto that fire to make it happen. So talk to me, like, you know, for your book right now, you have a website, right?
Yes.
Are you on Amazon?
I am not on Amazon, but I only resell on my website because I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I like to do for myself is I don't like overhead. So I'm an accountant. So when I think of stuff, I think in the accounting format.
I understand.
And so, you know,
So I will tell you this. A lot of businesses on Amazon, a lot are not. Okay? However, there's a reason Jeff Bezos is worth 1,100 billion, 700,000 billion, quadrillion dollars. And that's because Amazon is the place people go to spend money. Before we got on Amazon, we were on Shark Tank. And we did 6 figures in sales on Shark Tank, even though there's a long story of what happened on there. I won't get into it. But the second time we came on Shark Tank, when they decided to re-air us because of an interruption, the second time we were on Amazon, our sales doubled just from being on Amazon, and less people watch that episode. So the power of Amazon is there's a lot of people out there that just don't want to take 10 seconds to type their credit card into another website. They don't want to have to worry about what's going to happen if I don't get it. They don't want to have to worry about what's going to happen if I need to return it. They don't want to worry about any of that. So they will literally only buy things on Amazon. My dad is one of those people. My dad thinks that if he puts his credit card into another person's website, it's going to get hacked. It's going to get stolen. Even though I keep telling him that's not the way the internet works. It's going to be fine. He don't care. But he'll buy it if it's on Amazon. Amazon already got his information, and they ain't lost it yet. So he's like, cool. If it's on Amazon, click, 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 done. And so what I would say for you, one of the first things I would do is make sure my book is on Amazon. Okay. And not just the paperback to be able to sell physical, but the ebook and the audio book. Because today, so many people, you know, podcasting is huge right now. YouTube, long form content is big, and people really just want to sit back and listen. And so if you take the time to get to a studio, a podcast studio, get a nice high quality audio recording of you reading your book in your voice, and then you also combine that with an ebook, I think that that's going to give you a huge leg up on just the ways you're able to offer the product to other people. Because right now, unless they come to your social media or they meet you in person, that's the only way they find out about it. But the cool thing about Amazon is it's a place where people discover things they want to buy. So they'll go on Amazon, they'll search, you know, books for when you've lost your leg. They may search for, and this is where you get real strategic, they may search for the type of equipment or clothing that they need, right? They'll say clothing for amputees. Well, you can run ads on Amazon that when they search clothing for amputees, your book pops up.
Okay.
And now, even though they're just looking for clothes, everybody gonna have to get clothes. Even though that's what they're looking for, your book will pop up and they'll be like, oh, what is that? Click, click. And now they're interested in buying it. And that doesn't happen on social media. And that doesn't happen on Google. It doesn't happen on Facebook. It happens on Amazon. And that way you can start to pull out for those people, okay, you know, what are they buying? And you know what you buy. So if you just run ads against what the stuff that you look for and that you buy and make sure your book pops up for those people, man, like next thing you know, every time somebody is buying some type of specialty equipment, they're gonna see your book and they're gonna be like, man, this is my first time having to buy this, and I think I need this book because I don't feel well. I don't like the fact that I have to buy this. this item that I never had to buy before. And you could be, man, I don't think anybody else is doing that. What you think?
Yeah, that's pretty dope. But you know what I mean.
So outside of you, networking, like what are there any other things that you're trying to do for your business? Is anything else that you're struggling with? As you try to scale things.
So one of the things that I'm working on, because what I do peer-to-peer, and so in emotional management. And then I do strength-based assessments, so for amputees.
And when you say peer-to-peer, just go into that a little bit.
So peer-to-peer is like how me and you together and you kind of giving me mentor things. So for people who dealing with mental health, my goal is always to kind of bring you back in that safe space or try to bring you to a point where you able to understand how to work your own goals and me not doing it for you.
Got you. So you're meeting with people one-on-one, and these are primarily people who are amputees or who
just trauma,
people who maybe be facing behavioral things. Anyone who has a similar background or something from you, you're helping them one-on-one to allow them to overcome their mental health issues and achieve their goals. Is that
yes?
Kind of
Yeah, that's
okay. And today, like, how are you finding those people? How are they finding you?
So some people reach out to me from websites. I pass out information like when I'm at colleges or if I'm speaking at a school or doing more things like that. So if somebody reach out, I try to, part of my giving back is trying to always do something to uplift or bring a community together and do community work.
Got it. And right now, are you doing everything? Are you doing this full time or are you doing something else as well?
Well, I do majority community work full time. So just.
And what kind of community work are you doing full time outside of AMP Connections?
So I'm in the community. So one of the things that I do, I speak to the youth and try to encourage the youth. I go to schools and speak to schools, and so I do a lot of leadership training. So one of the programs I'm in right now is neighborhood leadership fellowships at UMSU, because I want to be a civic leader.
Okay. And let me ask you, when you go to the schools and you're speaking at the schools, are they paying you to come? Are they buying your books for the kids? Like, talk to me about that.
So it's more volunteer, some
I know
about
the schools, they be tight with the money, boy.
Yeah. So it's volunteer, some about a few books, but it's always just a part of me to give back. Like, they really.
Well, and look, it's important to give back because I'm a big believer. You always get what you give. However, you gotta get something so you can give something.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that when you're going and speaking, if they really believe in the message that it is that you're coming to share with these kids, or wherever you're going to speak, then they should want to make sure that you can keep going and share with more people, amplify it more and more, and that takes dollars. And so I think it's very reasonable to say, hey, I'll come and I'll volunteer my time to speak, but I need you to buy 10 books. I need you to buy 100 books to give away to these kids so that when they leave here, they got something to look at and something to read deeper, to dive deeper in the story that lets them know that, hey, you can do it. Yeah, you may get knocked down a couple times. I have. But you can go and do it. It can be done. I've done it. And I think that that's an extremely reasonable ask. And I believe that a lot of them will say yes. Say, hey, you know what? You're absolutely right. They buying lots of other type of books to teach kids. That's a book that they should have in every library, at the very least in the library, if not in the backpacks.
Yeah.
So, when talk to me a little bit about when you're booking these speaking gigs and they're asking you to come in and speak. Do you ever upsell them, or do you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't because I should give back and I should really be doing this to help people, which is totally understandable. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, just talk to me about where your mindset is there.
So, like I said, it's my second year doing it. So this year I've been more focused on more so leadership and training. And so, just kind of really putting a book out there and really putting things out there that really just make sure that I'm promoting it. So this year that I was really focused on, how can I study myself to be able to scale myself to become better? Mm-hmm. And so that's been more like the thought process for this year moving into 2024. And like I say, networking and just really learning.
No, I get it. There you go, brother. No, of course. I got a little something for you there. So, I would say, and I know this is really tough. I have a friend of mine. He has a nonprofit, and he really struggled because he was helping people with their mental health, and it's called Love for STL. And he was helping give away free mental health services. And it was very difficult for him to make the transition to realize, like, man, I can only help as many people as I have money to fund to help. And yes, I can ask people for discounts, and yes, I can, try to do this, but if I'm making money, I can help so many more people. And so he flipped his whole model to one where he could start to receive government revenue for all of the different people he was offering free mental health services to. He was using their insurance, their government provided insurance, to be able to capture the revenue so that he could help more people. And when he started doing that, instead of him helping 10 people a month, now he's helping 100 people a month. And so if you can figure out how do you monetize all these opportunities, that changes the game. And there's a couple of ways you can do it. One, I think you should absolutely ask people to pay you when you come to speak. You had a powerful story. And if they're going to bring you into their school, they should be at the very least buying books to give away to the kids. And if you go to a school and they're like, man, we would love to buy the books, but we just simply don't have the funding. We just don't have it. What you could also do is go try to find sponsors. You could go to a local bank, local credit union, local hospital, and say, hey, I'm speaking at this school. Here's the school. Here's what I'm going to talk about. Here's my book. The school can't afford the books. I want you to buy the books for the school so I can give it to them. And I'm going to put up a banner for you, and it's going to say that you sponsor the fact that all these kids get this free book. And that way, the schools don't have to pay for the books, but they are able to still give them away because you get the sponsor. And when you do something like that, AMP Connections is set up as a 501c3? Or
yes, it's a 501c3.
Yeah, so you're already a 501c3. You can go to the corporation. You can say, hey, this is a complete tax-deductible donation, but I want to put these books in the hands of all these people, not just schools. I want to go to hospitals. You could potentially go to Born's Jewish, right, and say, hey, I was in your bookstore, and y'all don't have any books for people that have recently become amputees. I was like, but yet y'all chopping limbs off in this hospital every day. I was like, what about the mental health of the people that are in here? They're like, oh wow, that's a great idea. Yeah, it is a great idea, because guess what? I didn't want flowers when I was in the hospital. Right? I didn't want a teddy bear. I wanted some relief. You should put this book in the bookstore so that people can get this for their family members when they're in here, and they know that they're gonna wake up and they're not gonna have all the parts that they had when they came in here. This will make a huge impact on your patients. Well, you go in there and you pitch that to Born's Jewish, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, I think we do need that in our bookstore. And next thing you know, you could be in every hospital in the country, in every bookstore, because every hospital I ever been in got a bookstore, got a gift shop where they're selling stuff for families to give to their loved ones. And that's a powerful thing to give somebody while they're in the hospital. And like, even for you, if you had woke up and had your book when you first woke up, what would that have meant for you?
It gave me some kind of hope. Somebody thought about it. And then I can learn from it.
Man, and I think that, I love people that create products and services based off their own experiences, because all you got to do to think about how to sell it and how to monetize it is, man, what would have been meant for me at this point, at this stage, and here, and here. And I think you can absolutely find organizations and companies, even if the ones you're actually speaking to, if you go to Shara and you say, hey, I want to speak to all the people in the city lockup, in the county lockup, but I want to give them my book. Who can you connect me with so that I can give away a free copy of the book when I speak to them? Next thing you know, she's going to be like, oh, this is a great program. We want you to go and speak to them. And, also, here's one of my campaign donors. I think they'll pay for them to all get a copy of the book. Because think about all the winners there, right? You're a winner because you get to go speak, you get to share your message, and you get to sell some books. The people who get to hear the message, they're winners, because now they may not reoffend. They may come out and get their degree. So that's great. The city's a winner, because now it's going to be less people in the jails. It's going to make them look good, because they're going to go and they're going to be helping the people that have been locked up. And it's great for the sponsor who pays for it, because now they get to go and tell all of their investors and all their customers, look how much we care about the city. Look how we're cleaning the city up, how we're helping people. Everyone here is a winner. And it's just you really, what's going to take for you to really take this business where it needs to go so that it can sustain your whole life and you can go all around the world telling people your story, is figuring out a way to monetize it so that everybody wins. And as you start to do that, man, you can be everywhere. Be everywhere.
Yeah.
So the question is, are you ready to go do that?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so what's the one thing you think you need to do this week?
Amazon, getting the book on Amazon.
Boom. He said, I already know what I need to do. Amazon done.
Yeah, Amazon.
I love it.
Yeah, Amazon.
I love it.
That's today.
Perfect. And listen, it's so cheap. Like, I think you pay like a one-time fee to get an account. It's like $50 or less. And sometimes you can get it waived if you talk to the right people. But once you get that account set up, you'll be on there easy and be ready to go. And you can send it to Amazon to ship. You can ship it yourself. Put the ebook on there, and I think that's a great place to start, because all these companies, first thing they're gonna do is Google you.
Mm-hmm.
And when they see it's on Amazon, it's got 5 stars. You get other people to go get it on Amazon. It's got like 35-star reviews on there, and you can tell people, hey, this is in the top 10 of all books on people recovering from surgery. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, we need to be on this. We want to attach our name to this story. And so I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I like to do one thing at a time. Like, some people like, I'm gonna do this, and this. You said, look, Amazon.
Yeah,
and that's enough.
Yeah.
Because if you just do one thing every week, you get 52 things done in a year. That's a lot of stuff. And you'll look back and be like, man, I made a lot of progress. But what you don't want to do is overwhelm yourself with trying to do everything at one time, and then being like, oh, I'm never gonna get all this stuff done. No, just focus on that one thing, and I think, like you said earlier, everyone else will start to come together to make it happen.
Yeah. That's the huge piece. That people really come together, like, just to really help you, because people want to see you win.
This is true.
People want to see you win, and you just got to know they want to see you win. Even though you feel a lot of people cheering for you and don't want to see you win, but the selective few that want to see you win, they're gonna show up.
And that's such a huge mindset to have, because keeping that positive mindset throughout your whole journey is hard, right? Because sometimes it gets really tough. Things aren't going our way. We want to give in, we want to give up. But keeping that mindset and knowing, like, no, there are people that are out there that want to help me. There are people that want to support me. There's people that want to see me win. Like, keeping that mindset is the only way you actually see and find those people. Because if you assume no one wants to help me, it ain't gonna work out. Well, guess what? That person that want to help you was on the elevator with you. You didn't say nothing to them, and they were standing right next to you, but you didn't even look up from your phone to look at them to be like, it was them. But when your mindset's different, you get on that elevator, you like, something about this person. I don't know what it is. And you just decide to say, hey, what do you do? And next thing you know, a whole conversation sparks off. And so what I do know about you is I think you're absolutely that type of person. One, because you reached out to me for this, so I know you got your eyes on a swivel, like, man, who's out there? Who's out there that I need? Who's the next person I need to talk to? The next things I need to do to accomplish what it is I'm trying to accomplish, to become the person that I'm meant to become. And man, I love it.
Yeah, man. It's been great, man. Like I said, I appreciate, like, you giving me a few names you spoke of, like, and there's a lot of times we don't know the resources, we don't know who to speak to. You even said that in your own journey. So, like, you brought up organizations like No Limit, or just different organizations, like, I didn't know exist, or, you know what I mean? And now I got to go home and I got some more work to do.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that you had their information before you leave. The No Limits guys, they're great. They were on Shark Tank as well, too. And anyone else who I can think of, like I said, I have a call coming up with the woman who does the software to read people who use sign language, American Sign Language. So yeah, anyone who I can think of to connect you with, I'll absolutely do. So let me just give you the floor to say, like, if you could talk to you at any point in your life and tell you something you needed to hear, one, at what point in that life, at what point in your journey would you share a message, and then what would that message be? And I want you to tell it to someone who's in that same part of their journey.
I think if it was one thing that I could say to somebody in one part of my life was when I was fighting for my own life on a hospital bed. True forgiveness is when you're able to forgive somebody that did something to you, your family member. And for me, it was when I was fighting for my own life, I was able to forgive the man who murdered my mother at the age of 12. I think that would be the huge takeaway that I would tell somebody. When true forgiveness happens, you're able to live again.
When true forgiveness happens, you are able to live again. Wow. Wow, that is a powerful message. And let me ask you, why was that message so important for you in that moment? The forgiveness.
Because it's the anger you live with. I think it's the driving force for everything that I had did in my life. And today, to be a positive person, to come around people and not with the intent to think I'm going to do something to them. And I think when you live your life with forgiveness in your heart and operate out of love, you get more love from people that you don't even know. And so,
you know, I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of times people don't want to forgive. They're like, I'm not going to let them do that. And they say, oh, I'm going to forgive, but I'm not going to forget. What that really means is I ain't going to forgive either. And, you know, the people, I think I grew up thinking, oh, forgiveness is for the person that did it to me. No, the forgiveness is for you. Because until you can let it go and let it be and understand that, hey, they was someplace in their life, they did something and it hurt me, it was wrong to me, but I forgive them because I can see from my own perspective who they were and where they were and why they did it. So I'm going to forgive them so that I can move on with my life, and knowing that, hey, that I'm enough. I can do this. I can do it despite what they did that affected my life. And, you know, I think of all the times in my journey where people did me wrong, stole money from me, cheated on me, all kinds of stuff that was just like, you know, it made me so angry at the time. But as I think about it, and as I learned and grew and forgave, man, it's just it's a weight that lifts. And you don't even realize how it's affecting you. And I know for me, what happened to me is I didn't trust anybody. I just would not trust anyone. And I didn't even realize how it was affecting me. I wouldn't hire people. I wouldn't grow my business because I didn't trust anyone. I didn't want investors because I didn't trust them. I didn't trust people. And I didn't even realize how much it was limiting my life because I didn't trust. I could not give someone my trust because I was so afraid they were going to break the trust. And it wasn't until I forgave the people that broke the trust that then I was able to be like, I can move on now because I understand. And I think you talking about having that true forgiveness, man, if more people did that, they could change the world. Change the world.
Yeah, that's the goal, man, to really get out here and show the world that this how you really do it. But you got to be that example every day.
And listen, you are that example. Yo, this has been fantastic. This has been an amazing conversation. Go ahead and just drop for the people. Where can they find you? How can they buy the book? I know it's going to be on Amazon, but what's the website today? Go ahead and just tell them how to reach you.
So you can find the book at ampconnects.info. As of today, we will be on Amazon. I will make it happen, so don't think it's just me just saying it. I will make sure we're on Amazon, so you'll be able to purchase it on Amazon. I'm on all social media platforms at ampconnect.info. ampconnections __. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So
love it. And we'll make sure to drop it down in the description below as well. Listen, guys, this has been another incredible episode of Keys, dropping knowledge and mentorship on you so that you can go chase after your dreams, become invincible, and do incredible things. I want to give a big shout out to our friends over at the National Corvette Museum. If you're interested in rolling around a car like this, you can do so. It only costs you about $25 for a raffle ticket. So make sure you head over to their website. You can look them up at National Corvette Museum. Otherwise, we will see you in the next video. Stay blessed. And listen, chase after your dreams. You can do it. Even if you're knocked down, you got this. So keep going. Peace.